shortened trading week as we have Thanksgiving on Thursday. We all look forward to what can be. Friday, I got an unexpected boost, and I was considering getting rid of my mining stocks and trying to wait for a retracement. And there were some rumblings that this was on Thursday night. I wish I could have done more with the miners, but my son's been sick. I'll update you on him too. But Barrett Mining, there was a resolution with their Molly mine or one of their bigger mines, and they got full clearance. So that kind of opens up the door here, hopefully, maybe for a little bit of a bullish tug here. So I made a, let's just say and it could be a stupid, you ever hear the, I make a emotional response, maybe so to say, maybe not an emotional response, but maybe a gut, like a gut feeling response. So once I seen that news, I bought back Dolly Varden and I bought back Silvercorp Mining. And even with today's gains, it went down initially after on both of those. So, but it's tricky with the miners because depending on what gold and silver does, but we still expect mid 26 to be where we fully capitulate. So it's one of those, it's a tricky situation. So like I just took, as you guys, I have 20 something thousand, 25, 28, 30. I don't remember how much it was that I took off the top to keep, as you know, the thousand instead of 1500. But anyhow, I don't want to get too much into that. I know they're running and it's exciting, but what's going on in crypto is it's a different scenario because gold's over here at the top part of this. We did get a nice correction, and it could be building after that last drop. It's possible it's building an inverse pattern here, and this is just going to break out left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then it comes up farther. We'll see. It's riding this uptrending support. I mean, there's always that feeling that even if we feel like it could fall out, we still have these rate cuts coming and we're going to quantitative easing. So like that in itself and the continuing inflationary problem we have, I'm almost sitting here going like, if this just goes up, like, let me just be clear. Yeah, it might be good for us if we hold gold and silver or miners or something related to it, or you own something or you sell something in relation. But make no mistake about it. If this goes straight up, and I'm not a financial advisor, this is just my feelings, and not just in crypto, but this is my feelings in the overall economy. If this just goes up, this is such a huge indictment of how screwed we really are in the short term. Because if we go up to 5,000 here, we got some problems. Like, we've got some problems. And then if it keeps going, that means we're in an inflationary depression. Or it's worse than hyperinflation. This would be worse than hyperinflation, what we're getting into. It really would. It's getting a little scary, to be honest, when it comes to avenues of what you have to do, what you have to try to do to stay ahead. I mean, we're so overbought in the monthly, but I suppose that, I mean, in high times of demand, but that's what I'm saying. If this continues to just run out like this, it's going to get pretty interesting. Like, if there's not a serious correction, we just go and we just rise out of here, it's going to be a pretty interesting ordeal that we're going to be dealing with here. Like, there's no doubt about it. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's the start of a new week. There's some, obviously, I think there's a little bit of bias right now because I think that news with Barrett's big news. It's just breaking more to the public via Bloomberg this morning. So I have to believe that that has something to do with this. Why is this up here? I don't know, though. I don't know. We'll see if we get that major correction or not. I mean, we already had a big 30-40% drop on some of the miners, but there was the opportunity possibly for some of them to drop even farther. But then again, I mean, it's the cycle. So anyhow, let's get into this. I like talking about that when I see that stuff happening. So it's more like, I guess I'm just going to just sit there and I'll just ride the wave. But if I'm riding the wave, I have to be fully, that's why I bought Dolly Varden and Silvercorp back. I just don't know if that's the right decision. Maybe I should have waited until, because that was a gut decision on Friday, but I don't know if it was even the right decision because, like I said, it came down after. Now it came back up. So yeah, it's nice to see 5, 6 or 4%, but that's nothing because they just shook on Friday from down to up to down. So that basically everything you see today is just getting back to even from the shake. So it's just like crypto. Everybody was afraid on Friday, and from my own feelings, and we'll get into crypto now. I'm sure a lot of people are like, let's stop talking about mining stocks. I don't care. I know he likes these, but we really don't care. Some of you care. Some of you care. But I've been going back and forth with myself. Do I sell all of these? Do I hold all of these? Do I? So it's an interesting thing. It is because we're in a hyperbolic movement right now, and when you get into that, it's like things happen. It's nice to see Ethereum up 1.8%. We still haven't done anything special yet. XRP being at 211 is good. We finally got through that 208 area we were talking, or it's like 208. But now we got to get through, in my opinion, and I know 214 and these lower levels hitting this mid tier, but we got to get above that 222 to 224 zone so that we can open up the ability to get above that 234. I still feel like if we can get above, what's the exact number in real time? Because I still think that if we're in a bullish megaphone, we should bounce back up to 264. And now, because we came all the way to the bottom, I don't know if Bitcoin is going to 100K and it's just going for rejection, or if you have been around in the last couple of days, I'll get into this. I just want to do the intro real quick. Good morning. 11:33 or 11:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, November 24th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I mean, I see. Ask me to fix a situation. I don't know how I'm gonna help you fix a situation, my friend. Like, I'm not a superhero. Like, I don't generally get involved with any of that. Like, I don't get involved with any of that stuff for a reason. Like, I got a message this morning in my email about somebody saying that they were asking me if I'm the one who I'm gonna put another warning out because I got a message this morning, and somebody asked me if I was sending them a message, and they're in the Telegram or they're in the community, and this happens everywhere. I tell everybody continuously, I'm not gonna send you a message in the copy trade. The whole thing with the copy trade, if you copy trade on TOOBIT, you don't send me anything. That's your account. You can do it with, you don't meet the people. The only reason you even know who I am is because you see me on here. You can copy trade people. You don't even know who they are. You don't ever send money. It's just in your account. It's sent to a different part of your portfolio in the futures account. It's for the copy trade only. Well, this person, and this happens, I don't know how this happens so many times, to be honest, but it does. People just, so they say they had them create a different kind of wallet, send them money as a copy trade setup, and now they're asking me if there's any way they can get their funds back before this person withdraws. So you've already sent them the money. Like, you've already sent them the money. I would never ask you to send money to me ever. I've never asked. I never will. Like, that's the whole scam with crypto. The short answer is you're screwed. It's a shame. This is why I don't like crypto. You know, I really don't like crypto for that reason, because there's so much that this happens to. And, you know, a lot of people are going to leave while we discuss this, but it happens all the time. And I have all these warnings. I have all these steps in my Telegram that if everybody just listens and actually follows the rules, when you first come in here, all you have to do is read what it says. And this is a better bonus for anybody in here, because there are a lot of people. That's why I don't comment to people. People send me messages all the time that I don't respond to, because there's so many scammers. There's so many people trying to take advantage of what we do, what I do, What anybody does who has any kind of social presence, they just try to steal from their audiences. It happens all across the board. I get them sent to me all the time. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, me. They send me. The scammers send it to me. Are trying to scam me, and I have the same name as the scam. I am the person, and they're trying to scam me. Like, it never ends. It never ends. It really never ends. And like, there's so many different things we have in here for a safety net and a help desk and to report everything, the red flag zone. Like, that's why we do these things, because it's so prevalent. Like, the allure of easy money is always going to win. It's always going to win. It's always going to win. I mean, think about it logically. I'm doing all of this and I don't charge for anything I do. So, how am I going to guarantee you profit or guarantee you this stuff when I don't have any kind of sponsorship and I don't have any kind of revenue coming in outside of anybody who's in Tom's army or the little bit of ad revenue I get, or if somebody sends a super chat? Like, it's not possible. I don't run that kind of a show. I don't have you pay for content or pay. Like, if I was going to do that kind of service, you'd be paying thousands of dollars a month or hundreds of dollars a month if I'm offering that kind of a guarantee. Like, are you kidding? Like, who's that? And it sucks. And maybe my emotions are off whack right now because my son's sick and I still need to update that. But this drives me nuts. It drives me nuts that this can happen this often. You know, it drives me nuts. It's actually a little disconcerting because 9 times out of 10 it happens to people that would never even send me a donation, would never send anything to the audience, would never, join the army. This a few people have, obviously, but this all needs to stop. And you guys ask for regulations. Are you asking for regulations from what's happening with this regard? Because that's the government most likely doing this with their own secret cells. They're the number one people who are stealing and hacking from wallets and running these perpetual scams. No, I know it's not my fault. There's nothing I can do about it. Between me, a newbie, and my friend who has been following you for 5 years, we both fell for it. Well, if you've been following me for 5 years, you shouldn't have fell for it. I've been talking about this for years. I have all the safety protocols in place in the Telegram. If you know anything about me, if you were copy trading me and you've been following for 5 years, when have I ever said, can you tell me the exchange? Can you tell everybody the exchange? And then everybody can let you, like, I've never wanted, I don't even know what exchange what it was. That's the thing. Like, I talk about TOOBIT, the copy trade. You don't send me money. It's not even the right exchange. Why am I not? I'm not replying to anybody right now. I'm trying to talk about this topic of discussion. I'm sorry, Ali. I'm trying to get through this live, and it's this perpetual scam that continues to be pushed on people, and it's like, I don't understand. No, Frankie Fresh. I know we all know the risk, but this isn't a risk. This isn't part of the risk of crypto. This should never be a risk. This shouldn't even, if you're watching me, you should never even think that I would ever take your money like that. Like, why would I put out a free show just to take your crypto? It doesn't even make sense. I could make a lot more just doing it honest and being like, hey, I'm going to charge you $500 a month. And if you want to join, you join. If not, goodbye. I could make it way easier than trying to have to scam people. It doesn't even make sense. Anyhow, I need to move past this, but it drives me nuts. Oh, yeah. And in general, you're right about that. No, Frankie Fresh, you're definitely right about that. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to take my multivitamin. I'm still very on wit's end because of my son right now. So, like, my stress level and anxiety is out the roof right now. So, just another thing. Just another thing that we shouldn't have to deal with, that we have to deal with, which is why with regulations, this is just going to happen more and more. You're giving up your freedom. You're a lot. We allowed this to happen. We allowed it. We killed crypto. So enjoy this last real bull run before it all comes to an end in 28. Once there's regulations, over. And it's over. No, Juice, it's not you. It's the idea, my friend. It's the idea of how many people. I'm not mad at you. I'm not blaming. I'm just saying it's the idea of how many people, like, you actually said something so others can see. So this is actually, an enlightening moment for some that are newer, especially. But the fact that it can happen to so many people, imagine who you were not hearing about. Imagine how many thousands and thousands and thousands of people in retail, and hear me out, that are in these scams that don't even know it. They see a portfolio on their screen. So basically, if I can read this email, basically what ends up happening, and this is the gist that I get. I don't want to share the personal information. Wait a minute. Please don't tell me it was that amount of money you sent. Oh my God. Was it really? That's how much? I don't know. Basically, they had him. That's no, that's mostly. Oh, okay. I see. So they're getting you with thinking you're making a bunch of money. I got you. Okay. Well, at least that's better. I don't want to say the amount, but they say they had him create an on-chain wallet. And let me see. I want to go back to the original one. So basically, it just says, um, yeah, like, listen, Juice, no offense, but just reading what you sent me, like, how could you possibly think that was me? I don't even talk like that. Oh, they played off your emotion. They played off the fact that I got you. I see what happens. Now I get it. So basically, what happens is we need something. Let's say we need to get from work, we need a new house, but transportation. So the allure was that by sending me money, all of a sudden you could buy yourself a new vehicle, like, or buy yourself something you need. It's just that in general. They play on your emotions. I got it. Reading that, I see exactly what they did. I don't really want to share it unless you want me to share it. I mean, it would be good for everybody who's watching to see how this happens, but I would need your blessing, Juice. I would love to show it. I would love to show this to everybody so you can see exactly what they do. I'm going to take my vitamin while I'm waiting for a response, but this is the worst part of crypto right now, what you're seeing right here. I won't show the page where it said the amount. Um, Juice, I just want to show the messages they were sending you. Thank you. Okay. We'll get there. We're gonna, for the better of this, just it's a good learning experience for everybody watching, but unfortunately, for a learning experience to happen, there's got to be a victim though, and unfortunately, the unfortunate part is I guarantee he's not the only victim. It's just too prevalent. If they really cared about it, they would tell us. So let's see if that's the first one. I don't want to share that. So hope you can get it done by Tuesday. So basically, one, let's see. I wish I could see what it says on the back end of that so I could see the actual name. Because it's usually just slightly misspelled when they do it. Anyhow, it says this. What's this? Exponential stock. Oh, that's where I don't even know what exponentialstock.com is. Like, I don't know what this is. So I've never even heard. I don't know what any of this is. I'm almost afraid to have my stuff, like, just even opening it on my computer, honestly. But So basically they have them go there. So it looks like that. And it says, hope you can get it done by Tuesday so we know it's secured so you will not start losing out. You can deposit it little by little. I would advise you to get a new truck from the money. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. It's not that it's a bad truck. Now it says you can get some loan from the bank immediately. You're paying back. It's just listen, from everything I say, guys, would I ever even tell you to go to a bank to get a loan? I hate banks. I hate banks. You know, why would you get a loan to trade a risk asset? That doesn't even make sense. That's what I mean. This doesn't even sound like, if you know me and you watch me, before you let your emotions dictate your response, like, that is not how I even talk. I mean, that's what I mean. When I was like, this even doesn't sound like me. Everything I go against everything that this person's saying. Take out a loan. I advise people to go debt free. They could have used anybody. They use this same message and they just put the person's name. It sucks. But for gas fees, why would you need that much money for gas fees? I don't even deal with Bitcoin or Ethereum. What are they trying to move your gas fees on? You can't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody. That's why I always tell people, as much as I want to respond to you in messages, I just don't do it. Unless you send me a message to my email and you see me sent back from my email after you send it to me, it's not me. Even in the Telegram, I tell you, people get mad because I won't send them personal messages. But it's just the way it goes. Because you should see, guys, I should pull it up on my Facebook even, how many people send it to my Facebook page from a scammer, XRP Future Millionaire, trying to scam me. Like, and I'll send it back and be like, you're scamming the real XRP Future Millionaire. That's just my personal page, asshole. And you know what Facebook did? When I tried to comment, they banned me for 2 weeks and now I'm not recommendable. Because they said I was impersonating XRP Future Millionaire when I reported the person impersonating me. That's the true story, and I'm still not recommendable a year later on Facebook. So you tell me what's fair. So the only good thing about YouTube, no, they don't stop people from doing it in the comments, but nobody can create another YouTube channel that says XRP Future Millionaire. So this is just a shit show is what this is. It sucks. It happens. And then it looks like this, apparently. Changed all their stuff to look exactly like me in the Telegram. It's so freaking ridiculous. But look, see what they did? And I hate to be that guy, but because they can't do it the exact same way as my name. Did you see what they did? So let me just go to where mine looks. So I'm XRP Future Millionaire. See it on the bottom? That's how mine looks. XRP Future Millionaire. Did you see what they did? Then this is sneaky. You have to look for the discrepancy. All mine is, and it's just like that. Their discrepancy was, well, Tom, how did they get away with it? I see it. I see how they did it to trick you. Yeah, it says XRP Future Millionaire, but did you catch what they put at the end of it with the $sign? That's how they got away with it. And Telegram's so ridiculously stupid they'll let this happen. Like, yeah, it might not be my name. Where was that one for the Telegram? Not that one. See what they did at the end? They put that $sign at the end of it. See that, everybody? You also see how they misspelled my last name, everybody? They couldn't do Thomas Spica Sr. or Jr., right? So they did Thomas, SSRPICA, key dead giveaway. It says you are trying to send an ERC20 token. Do I like Ethereum? No. Do I like Bitcoin? No. Do I own them? No. Would I ever use them for gas fees? Hell no. That was the point of XRP if I'm going to use that garbage. Very strategic what they do. But you see how they did that? They came as close as they could, but they can't do it the exact same way because you can't copy somebody's stuff exactly. So their username is wrong. Their bio, they tried, and then they had to put a $sign at the end of my name. Even for XRP Future Millionaire. That's how manipulatively. It drives me nuts. Just got scammed for $400,000. A lady he never met in Florida told him to invest in multi-million scam. He would make millions himself. His marriage is bad, so he was vulnerable. Yep. Holy crap. 400,000. I'm so sorry this happened to you, though, my friend. Like, I do feel for you. It almost makes it to where it's not. It's getting harder and harder, let's just say, to stay in crypto. Sometimes I count the days until 2028, until the end of what's happening, you know? So, but yeah, I mean, we're starting to get a rally here. I think it's on the back, too, of what's coming. Things could be worse than we think. But I think the whole Barrett news got the market a little excited. So we'll see how we go in the middle of the week. It's a thinly traded week, but there's no doubt about it. Classic phishing, online scamming with misspelling, playing on emotion, etc. We have to check every detail with electronic communications. You're right, John Bugathorpe. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Oh, it hurts when I see that stuff. Joseph, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor, and also sending a gifted sub. Venice Rex, congratulations on getting that gifted sub. But, I mean, I wish I could help fix that situation. There's not a damn thing I could do any more than anybody else could. Even if that was me that they scammed, I wouldn't be able to get my money back. The crypto, I mean, and that's why the governments are supposed to help, right? Where are they at with these situations? You try to contact them, are they going to even respond? Nope. They don't touch this kind of stuff. You try to contact the lawyer, they don't even want to help because it's all a game. It's all a game. I don't know how much he lost. I don't know if I'm allowed to share the page with how much it shows on the page. He said I could share the information, but I don't really want to show what it showed on the tether. Can I show that, Juice? Since everybody's invested. Forgot to mention the scam was about crypto. A couple thousand. Because the only thing I'm trying to figure out, Juice, and I need to pull this up since it is educational. I want to know how this one thing I don't understand is, what is this? Why does it show it on here? Like if it's in Tether, so it's 74,000. So you're sending money and then they're showing you a Tether amount. Like, I don't understand. This is the one thing that I was confused about. I don't understand this. So it says, I don't understand. Like, you're saying it's getting big. So how are you supposed to be making money? Like, I still don't understand. You're saying it's profit, but what were they investing in? I don't understand. Like, what was the promise? Like, did they tell you the investment? That's just what I want to know. I think everybody else is interested to know this too, because it could happen to anybody if we're not being vigilant. It really could. And if you appreciate the fact that Juice is doing this, please hit the like button so more people can see this. This just breaks my heart, though. This is like I say every single day, this is the worst part of crypto. And yeah, the stock market's bad, but let me tell you, because you're going on a broker, this is the part you don't have to deal with. A real broker. Thank you, Juice. You're going to help so many people that I can't even describe it. And real quick, while we're waiting, my son, he, as you know, was sick. He has an ear infection, and, you know, he has a G tube, so he was having problems. Sometimes there's complications when they get sick with the G tube, and you're feeding them, and because you're filling them the formula base, especially when they have like a bacterial infection where its stomach is sensitive, they won't be able to hold it down. So they throw it back up. And he had it, you know, to where he was dry heaving on Friday night, and it was pretty bad. So we got him some anti-nausea, and he only threw up one time after that. We fed him 2 ounces like early Saturday, very early at like 1 a.m. maybe, or a little earlier, and he held it for a few hours, threw up. It was just one quick throw up, like it just came up, and there was nothing bad. And then yesterday, we didn't do milk. We did a couple ounces last night, but during the day we kept doing 2, 3 ounces of Pedialyte with water so he could get a lot of fluids. And he kept the 2 ounces down last night. And then we did 3 ounces this morning at 10 a.m. And we gave him another 2.5 ounces of the Pedialyte with it. So he got 5.5 ounces of fluid. And he's held that down so far for just over 2 hours. So hopefully we can build him back up to the 8 ounces. He's slowly gaining his strength back because you know he's a little weak and fatigued from being sick, and you can tell he's still tired, and he's getting slowly but surely. He's starting to get back. You know, the more he eats and the more he's been able to hold it in. He's not been on the anti-nausea for a couple days, so that's the other good part of this. He's 6. Um, but he was in a bad car accident when he was 6 months old. Him and his mom, Julie, my significant other. You all know her if you've been here. And he had a lot of trauma. He hit his head, and he broke his femur, which is supposed to be your hardest bone in your body, and he did that at 6 months old. So he's always gonna have issues with his leg. And he's nonverbal, um, special needs, obviously with autism, and but he had very bad aversion because they kept trying to force stuff down his mouth when he got injured, and so it went from him being normal with the normal cues and normal eating to he had very bad aversion to where 1 7-day stretch he just didn't eat. So, well, some of you remember last year we went through it. We're in the hospital for like 4 weeks and had to go up to Grand Rapids. But anyhow, we're hoping for the best that he's starting to that he's on the right track here. So I'll keep you guys updated. So far, you know, it's always nerve wracking as a parent. And like for T, because he's got the G tube and just the issues that have happened, not his fault, but you know, just there's things that are different about raising T than the other two and anybody else I've been around. So he's got unique challenges, but I'll be here every step of the way and we'll deal with it as it goes. So I'm just worried about getting him healthy and getting him. He's probably not going to go back to school this week, though. I don't want to make it worse. He's only got Monday and Tuesday at school, and honestly, he's in kindergarten, and with his condition and everything, they can go to hell if they got a problem with it. So, you know, they're the least of my worries. I got to get him healthy. I got to make sure he's good, and then hopefully by next week, when school restarts after Thanksgiving break, um, he can be good to go. So that's the update on him. So, and he hasn't had a fever since he broke it on Saturday, so he's 48 hours clear of a fever. So that was the first good sign. So he was just dealing with it. And like his sister had a pneumonia the week before, caught it at school. There was a lot of stuff going on at school. So his just progressed and he got sick, and he might have a little bit of a stomach flu with it as well, obviously. So, yeah. John says, third time I typed this. Third time, or Rich. Oh, how old is he? I missed it. 6 years old, Rich. 6 years old. Good morning, Tom. Just passed my 1 year of being in Tom's Army. Oh, I appreciate that. And congratulations with that 1 year badge. I greatly appreciate that. Like I always say, you changed my life, brother. Went from knowing nothing to now being financially literate. Tom's Army for life. Oh, I appreciate that. I love the lifelong bonds we create here. I wanted to talk about my portfolio too, because I did make an addition for the first time yesterday in a while of a token I've never owned. Well, it's been a long time because it made an all-time low here in this cycle. Shane used to talk about it a lot, but I don't know how it's doing this morning because I haven't looked at it since last night. But I was gonna buy this token on Kraken, but the price was 11% higher than it should have been. So I ended up sending the money I was gonna use over to WEEX, and now I have IOTA in this particular token on WEEX that'll just sit there bonding. So, but I'll talk about that here in a minute. I want to finish what's going on with Juice. Okay. So you have $891 in your main wallet, 73,000 in profit. Yeah, but that okay. So how did they turn supposedly eight? That's what I want to know. How did they turn your money you sent into the money you see below? Because no offense, I could I don't know. This just seems like AI created. All this is all bullshit. That's what I hate about AI too. This is gonna make this easier to perpetrate. Who said dag? Clink, I gotta tell you, man. You are. Yep. Yeah, but here's the. I understand it's a copy trade, but do you understand the copy trade? Let me show you an example of what it looks like on my page. I don't get the control your guy. Like when I do a copy trade, it's on TOOBIT for one. As it says, if you look in the video description below and or pinned comments of this very live. Here, I'll put it up here right now. This is what I put up here every single day, so that you guys can copy if you want to, but it's Linea. The only thing we have is Linea. And I talk about it every single day in the live. But you don't send me money. That's your account. Like you have to create the account. You click on the link, you create your own account. It's got your own money. I never see your money. I can't touch your money. I can't hold your money. I can't send or receive your money. They're your tokens, and you have the ability to sell out even if the trade's going on. Like I have no ability to control what you're doing. So, I don't get to see that. So that's why these copy trades, they say it's a copy trade, but that's not what a copy trade is. Like I would first educate if you want a copy trade, just so you know the basics of what it is. And that's why we put the information in the Telegram. That's why I talk about it on here. But that's also why I'm very leery about doing copy trades, as you guys know, because it just makes it easier. See how it says TOOBIT, no KYC copy trade? So that's where you copy trade. That's it. That's all I got, my man. That's it for anybody who's watching. So when you copy trade, this doesn't happen. This isn't what it looks like. It's actually on your screen. Like, look, I'll show you for an example, okay? If I want to copy trade somebody else, just so you guys can, just so you can see in real time, I'll go on here and I'll click my own link. So TOOBIT, you go up here and you click it. Oh, I hit BITUNIX on accident. Pull this up. TOOBIT. So this is online, so I wanted to just go to the actual TOOBIT. No, I don't want rewards. So look, if you go to copy trading, you're going to follow these people. You don't send them money. You literally just copy them. You're copying their trade, and then you designate exactly what you want to do. Now it's going to try to make me do an account, but that's what you do. You don't know these people. The only reason you know me is because you can see me. But in copy trading, my friends, if it's a copy trade, just so nobody gets allured and gets scammed like this, because we need to use this as a teaching moment. It's either we can make fun of our friend or we can make him feel bad, which is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to use what he's saying because I know he's sharing because he knows that this can happen to anybody. And at least, and I'm not saying $1,000 is a little bit of money or anything like that, but at least it's not 400,000 like somebody else in the chat said about their friend or their relative who didn't even know anything about crypto who sent somebody. But let's continue on this story. So copy trading, if you ever do it, okay, this isn't what copy trading is, what they're telling you. What you're going to do is you follow somebody on a exchange that offers copy trading. And what you end up doing is you put a designated amount. So if you want 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10, whatever the case may be, they can have a minimum and a maximum as well. But you put it into the account. It's in your account. So if it's on TOOBIT, it's still in your account on futures. But now you have to go to the futures and the copy trade. So now you can take your money from the futures and you send it into the copy trading futures account. That's your money still in your account, but connected to this person. So when they make a trade, it automatically opens up a trade. When they close it, it automatically closes it. But you get a lot of people that are sneaky with it. So they'll do scamish things with 50 and 100x and do open shot, open shot, open. So you can't get. So there's a lot of things to pay attention to. But that's how a copy trade works. So you're mimicking their move. You can see it all. You're in control of it. You can close it at any time, and there's no reason to cash it out from them because you never sent it to them. It's in your account. Okay? It's in your account. So basically, this is a wallet, it looks like. So if this is a wallet, you're just sending it into their wallet. And then they're coming up with some fancy, probably AI created thing to make it look like. But I still haven't got the answer. I want one answer, please. What did they tell you, Juice? I know you didn't know any better, but I want to know what the hook, line, and sinker was that you're sending them money and it's going to turn into something else. Because you said they're saying copy trade, but what is the copy trade? What token did they copy? Are they telling you that you're going to copy? Like, I don't understand. And I know they play on people's emotions, so it doesn't have to make sense. And that's what sucks because everybody's having a hard time right now. Everybody's trying. Okay, XRP. So if and this is just, can I just say this real quick? So if it was XRP, why do you have to pay all these gas fees through ERC20 token? I'm just being completely honest. If they're doing it through XRP, why on God's green earth would they say you're going to make all these profits through XRP and they don't understand the technology of sending it for pennies on the fractional pennies? That should be a dead giveaway. Like we need to. I'm not trying to grill you, Juice. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come off like that. I'm just saying it for the audience. That's what we should be thinking. So, okay, that's what you don't know. Okay, that's a fair response because that's the question we should ask ourselves. And then that's next time this happens, anybody, okay? Juice, if anybody ever comes at you, you ask them that question. Say, I just have an honest question. Why would you send it through ERC20, which is an Ethereum chain, where they have these high gas fees? When you trade XRP, you understand XRP. Why wouldn't you just use the XRPL to do it for, not even a penny, no matter how much you send? Why would you wait 20 minutes, 15 minutes when you could do it in a split second? Like I'm not correlating. Now, if you would have told me like, okay, they told me they're using USDT, they're going to use the Solana chain and it costs $1, that's fair. Because I do that a lot so that I don't have to buy crypto to send stuff somewhere else if I want to send it. I'll do USDT. I've said this a million times. And I'll send it through the Solana chain because it goes quick and I've never had an issue because there's so much traffic. And it goes right there and it's a $1 fee. I can do $5, 10,000, 50. It's still always $1. Sometimes a receiving exchange might charge you $2, but you also have to be careful on tier 1 exchanges because you can lose a lot of money in the transfer back from Tether to USD. But that's kind of, the apples to apple. I think he thought it was part of your copy trade, which is why he went along with it. Okay. That's what I'm trying to figure out, Mrs. Stott. I think you're right about that, and thank you for your input. Like it makes it clearer to read some of your comments. That's why I was like, I need to read. They're always waiting till the last minute to tell me what was going on. I didn't know there was a gas fee till we got to that. Oh, that makes even more sense. Such a... And like, there's one other position that you guys know the one leverage position I have, which is the V chain position, which I'm still not happy about it being a 5x position, but because of the funds, the way they're set up, it was extra funds that I could do, and I wanted a certain amount, and yeah, but anyhow, so far so good with that. But let's go through XRP before we get to some of the rest, okay? The copy trade with Linnea is up 5.69% today. Didn't end up selling it or anything like that, as you know, anybody watching it. Just until we see some stuff here. Because right now we open the door to a little bit more of price movement, which is good to see. XRP right now, let's just do the nuts and bolts here. Now that we're all heartbroken for our friend in the community because There's nothing that annoys me more than people who scam off of innocent people just trying to better themselves. It really bothers me because that's societal flow right now, and we've got to do something to change that. The message I always give is blood money is not good money. It's not. That's why I don't do paid. I don't do any of that garbage, because at the end of the day, if I'm coming here to try to teach knowledge and then all I'm trying to do is profit off of everybody each moment, that just, it turns into greed. It might start off with good intentions, but after, you lose your way. And I'm not, if I do, I do, but I have to feel desperate enough to where I need to do this right. Otherwise, I'm screwed. Otherwise, you can take for granted if you've got too much of other free money coming in. So I've got to keep this like this for me too. I got to make it, hey, all these decisions matter. I'm screwed. Because that's how I've lived for the last 7 years, 8 years as an investor. And this is how I have to continue. And it's in your best interest for me to be like this. Did MXC die? It's not that it died, but like after that big run we had, I said, yeah, it's not worth trading right now. I think everybody sees why. Once it got that rejection and then it started to be delisted off exchanges, like I was well ahead of the delistings, obviously, because I told everybody not to trade it on crypto.com after that run up. I talked about the liquidity issue. When we had like a 400% or 300% move that last time, the pricing from what you could sell it for and what was on the order books, there was nothing there. So the price might have went up, and you couldn't withdraw it off the exchange. So you were basically taking, I think we talked about it at the time, an 18% hit off the top. So if I was up $10,000, I was really only going to get about 8,200. That's a big difference. That's a big fee to pay $1,800 on a $10,000 sale. That's like uphold when it's high times. So anyhow, it's so interesting right now. We can either do this, come up to the 4 hourly, push that 231 and not get past it, come all the way back down and maybe make a double bottom. We could push up, and I still think we're in a bullish until we break down. I still think this is a bullish megaphone. Resistance, support, back to support. Now, could we lower this? No, we can't, because it doesn't make sense. This just came back down to support. It was a big fake out here. Reestablished, bouncing around. Now we got to see. If this bounces around and comes up here, we either get a rejection or we do something like this. We'll see. I'm still under the impression we have a big opportunity to come back up here for one reason. Bitcoin, as we know, 87,000. If we can get past, and we haven't hit it yet, this is what we talked about Friday if you were here. And I'm trying to be passionate, and I'm going to rephrase this and restate this over and over so I can remember this during the lives. Because I almost lost control earlier, but I pulled it back. I want to be passionate without being loud so that I'm not down your throat, in your face, but we're talking. We're friends. You know, it's like no judgment. We're trying to get past this, good or bad, because not every moment's going to be smooth, but you got to understand that we're in this together. And if we're going to walk together, you know, we got to be speaking with each other, not over each other, but we got to speak with each other, not at someone in a bad way. So that's something I've learned most in 2026. So 2025. What am I grateful for 2025? After 4.5 years of doing this on YouTube, it's finally sunk in that passion can be met with an undertone like this instead of the in your face, too loud, make you feel like a piece of shit kind of thing. Instead, you need the feeling of we're going to walk together. And that's what we're doing. We're walking together in this crazy world of crypto that's filled with scams and so much manipulation, which it's not the manipulation like the general public thinks. It's just the way the trading algorithms work. And I believe at the end of the day that the institutions, the elite, the higher powered ones are leaving us breadcrumbs so that if we really know what we're doing, we can get ahead. How else can we explain how we can stay ahead of these charts? How else can we explain how we can stay ahead of these moves? And how else can we explain the way that they intentionally, like Jim Cramer, comes down here and what does he say? The bottom's not in for Bitcoin strategically. I shared it, and it's like, this guy, man. And he did it right around 80. I think it was at 81 on that last drop down. It's just insane how this happens. And that's when I'm like, oh, it's a done deal. And some people, you're reading into it. I know. I've had my hat on the last couple days after keeping my hat off when it was bearish, and it just so happened to go bullish when I turned it on the last 2 days. I swear it's a coincidence when I turn my hat on. It doesn't mean we're bullish. It's a coincidence that we are rising once the hat comes out shortly after. So Jim Cramer said, I don't think everything is fine with Bitcoin. There's a lot of people that have to get out. Thinks Bitcoin will go lower. And then what happens? Right when he says that, we're up $7,000 on Bitcoin. And on Friday, I said, everybody is thinking we're going to dump, but I feel a 15 to 20% pump coming across the board, even if it's a short squeeze. And I don't want to toot my horn. I want to toot the community's horn. Let's just base it on our XRP from Friday. Doesn't everybody remember this? Now is the problem. Do we hit rejection here? And this is why actually the first area is not 222 anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually lower to, well, we did say 218 to 222. The other one, fuck. We're almost there. Thinking we had more time. Yeah, see? There it is. That 15 to 20% move just happened. No, I don't know if it's a bull trap, ladies and gentlemen. For one reason, daily is just moving up bullish. This is a bullish overtake right now. Volume's not great. Weekly, it's so oversold that it should play in our favor. I am not convinced that we are just going to break down and we're not going to make a new low. Like I said, everybody seems to think this in the general public, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not putting anybody down. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, because the more we put people down, the less salvation we're going to have, because we're always going to have that mindset, that piece of shit, he's always trying to do something. Nope, we can't do that. We can't do that. Speaking of manipulation, the XRP spaces on X are weird. They are always fudding XRP. Once in a while, push scam coins that are on XRP. That's exactly what happens. Again, if you see an influencer, they talk about XRP, and then all of a sudden they say, I have this next 100X token. There's their payment. Come on, guys. You know everybody puts it. Remember the old Safe Moons and the GOAT token and all these other ones we can go down the list with, that all of a sudden they go up real quick. They get you into the frenzy, use your emotion, tell you that you don't want to miss out, yada, yada. Here goes everything. Here's my main portfolio that just got cut in half, and now I'm never trading again, and this guy's a piece of garbage. Don't fall for that. That's an even more alluring scam than what people are falling for when they pretend to be the influencer themselves. But I'm not going to steer you guys wrong. I've said it before and I said it again. When I'm liquid, you should pay serious attention. But when I'm back in positions, you should also pay serious attention. I'm not... there's a lot I wish I could say, but there's a lot I'm not allowed to say. Believe it or not. I'd get banned in a heartbeat. Look at shorts, 51.5%, 48.47% going long. There's about a $2.4 billion gap of extra money going to the top side compared to the bottom. Binance leads the way by almost 2.5 times, 3 times any other closest exchange by volume. Not a surprise. They're one of the biggest influencers on these market moves. Ethereum's 51.07% long, or short, 48.94% long in the last 24 hours, 31.72 billion short, 33.09%, or I mean long, 33.09 billion short, which means there's an added 1.4 billion almost that can be grabbed over the top if we go up and set it down. It's always alluring to the market. And XRP, some volume, but 50.5% long, 49.4% short, a flip here, 3.01 billion long, 2.95 billion short. Not much there to speak of, though, so that's not a big disparity. It's pretty dead even. So basically, either way on XRP, there's just not enough volume to dictate the almost 2 billion in each of the other ones that could be grabbed. So this is pretty much a coin flip here for XRP as it stands. I want to pull up one other chart to see the liquidity heat map, but I'm going to go back in the history so that I don't have to go through all the BS. Here we go. So the Bitcoin heat liquidation map, and all these little things you can do for free. You don't got to pay somebody for their chart. You don't got to pay somebody to tell you the zones. This is all free. You can do all of this. You just need to know it. I didn't know this when I first started crypto. I didn't know there was heat liquidation maps and that I could go on crypto fear and greed index or the Bitcoin long and short ratios. Now I would suggest you go to the exact ones I go to because I've gone through all the nonsense ones, and these are the ones with the most data. This is the one with all the exchanges that are at least the most accurate. This crypto fear and greed index, in my opinion, is the most accurate. There's so many different ones you can use on Amazon. So just coinglass.com for the Bitcoin long short ratios, and then you can switch it down here. Crypto fear and greed index, go to alternative.me. You go to coinank.com and you go to the liquidation heat map. And then I would suggest you put it to magma. You can put it to Viridius, but I don't like it. It just is a different way to look at it. I don't like it. I know the colors like that, but I think when you put it into the other one, the color, it stands out more, the liquidation zones, in my opinion. And you can update the pro charts and things like that, but I'm trying to show it for the general public, so I'm not trying to update it because not everybody. So if you see me do something and then I'm paying for a premium version on these, you're gonna get mad. I would get mad because you want to see. So I think this shows up a little bit better. And then you can see on the side, you can see how much liquidation it shows on the top. But as we go up here, I mean, look at all this liquidation for Bitcoin. If we do come back and retest the rising wedge and see how it's empty right here, that's this whole pocket here is for the taking. There's a little bit of emptiness here. And that's, I think the reason for this is because we're towards a make it or break it near that 88,900 area, 800. And then if you come up here, maybe we overshoot it. But I think this liquidity pocket speaks volumes. That would be where we get a rising wedge breakdown if we get rejected. So I think it speaks volumes. But I want to go into Ethereum real quick and then XRP to see what's over the top. So we can see a lot of volume at 100K for XRP. I mean, Bitcoin. Ooh. 33. Look at all this. Tons of volume here. What about below? There's some below. Definitely get deep pockets up here near. Wow, we got a couple deep pocket areas up near 3,300, 3,260. And then once you get up here, you got another deep pocket around 3,700 plus. Another deep pocket up here around 3,900 plus. Yeah, oh yeah, we got some deep pockets above. What about XRP? So Bitcoin and Ethereum definitely have some deep pockets above. You may never get that 70 cents, my friend. Nobody understands that. I don't just say XRP may never go back under $1 again for any kind of real sustain besides what Binance did or something like that. It's the truth. We may never come back down to those levels until it's over. So maybe 2028 when everybody thinks it's just going parabolic. I'm telling you, this is the last real rotational push in crypto. Everybody thinks it's the start of the first. It's actually the blow off the top. Can everybody just sit down for a second and actually hear what I'm saying? Remember, when regulation comes in, that means a new route has already been attained. So now it's our job to figure this out. So what I mean by this is this next move is going to be the move for anybody who understood prior to this digital overtake that's coming. But for anybody who gets bought in and suckered in by regulation time in 28, it's over. You are going to be the topside liquidity of all topside liquidity. This bubble will burst. It's going to happen eventually. And with regulations, it takes it to a different level. Trust me, there's a lot of institutions, a lot of big players that will not trade crypto once the no KYC exchange exception goes away. And that essentially dies in that 2028 bill at the end of the year. If that happens, if everything goes the way they want with regulation, that's all going to disappear. There's no way of just moving money without it being, that's over. So they will go away. And the next avenue, which I think it's going to be partial between quantum computing and the AI integration into robotics. So I think all three play a phase. That's why I think CLSQ is a great place to look when it gets to wherever your projected target is. I think they enhance all of what we're talking about. And we've been watching it for a long time. I don't know where it's at today. Today it's up 7.9%. Personally, I was hoping for a little bit more down. Try to retest that 297 uptrend, but I don't know if it's a missed opportunity because it came down here to 331, but I was looking more for this uptrend tap. Weekly's pushed down a lot. It's the monthly that's still a bit concerning, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of things that I'm watching and I'm like, man, not exactly sure what to think right now. Because we're in such a weird time in the history of where we're at right now and all of these charts and all of this stuff. But anyhow, let's go back to what I was talking about with XRP. Now up to 216. Like, I had a gut feeling that this is exactly what we were going to see on Friday. I went from having all this money on the sidelines from before that last drop to using all that money on this last drop. Because the drop before the last one, I said, this isn't the spot I'm buying. It needs to go one more. We talked about it. Because it sets up that perfect, well, we still have 72K open on the board for that rising wedge technical target drop at its minimum drop, because the max could have been to 59 if it plays out in the worst case. But now it opened the door to either 88,000, was it 400 or some change, or all the way back up to that 100K area to retest the rising wedge. So it opened up for a short squeeze. XRP right now, big liquidity up here in the monthly. The biggest liquidity is up near that 258 area. So that does make sense. Some down here, but we bounced through it already. Still a little bit picking up. A little bit up here at about 2. This makes sense right here, having a wall. Also makes sense to have a wall around that 232 to 234 zone. So we'll see how we push with this liquidity. That's in our favor being over the top. I'm going to do 2 more quick ones because I got to go. I got to make sure my son's okay. XDC is at 5.3 cents. Looking pretty good. I ended up settling with XDC. I'm not going to ever go under. Like, I want to build it up, but I have over 200,000 tokens. I've been distributing my funds the way I thought was appropriate, and I think that's going to, I know some people say that's too much money in XDC having over 200,000 tokens, but I think it's going to pay off big time in the future. Our first big resistance we have to get over is 550. And on Wednesday, I look forward to doing another edition of Winning Wednesdays, buying XDC while it's under 10 cents and seeing what we can do going forward. It's something I'm really enjoying. But yeah, XDC needs to get above that area. And then the token I was talking about that I actually gained some exposure to is DAG. I was going to do it on Kraken, but like I said, the pricing was awful, so I'm not doing that. So I just said, hey, it's going to go with my IOTA on WEEX, and those two will play together. First time I've made this decision to buy it because it back tested fully this entire descending, you could call it a wedge, but it's been playing on the outside. It's the first time I've seen this chart, and this was yesterday, of course, where it was, look at this, monthly's oversold, which could still come down some. I'm not saying it can't. So we'll see if there's a point, but you see the volume is crashing volume, crashing price is perfect recipe for bullish reversal. The weekly time frame is significantly oversold. Daily time frame has come down to significantly oversold levels. 4 hourly at the time when I bought, it's still down here, was way oversold. So was the 3 hourly, the 2 hourly. It's been stuck in here. Yeah, it was down. It was early, but it was coming down on this little pull right here. But yeah, so it was somewhere on this one. I can't remember the exact part of this wick because it was going between. It might have even been, no, it was between one of these. I can't remember which one, but it was 138 something. It was just above where it's at right now. 138, 1378, 1378 maybe. I can't remember. Somewhere on one of these two, the bottom parts of this wick, I believe, somewhere over here. It was when it came close to this. I bought it when it back tested this. Because I was going to do it here and it never came down. I said, well, I know it's got to hit it. And I was being stubborn. And then I ended up hitting it. So one of the times when it hit this line, so 13.78 maybe 13.74. I don't remember what it ended up filling at exactly. I don't even remember how many tokens I bought, to be honest. But I'm basically almost at capacity for the way, and it's the way that the portfolio set up that gives me a lot of encouragement if we do go into this cycle like I'm trying to set up for. So 115,000 IOTA never touched. I didn't touch them, didn't touch the 60,000 algo, kept them. Kept over 200,000 XDC. I was considering, but I never came below. And now I bought 204,000 or 205 might as well. 204,930 DAG. And let's see what the price was. I'm curious to see what it was actually bought at. Let me just pull this up. But I've been very interested with this for a long time. And I really was excited to see it was on Kraken, but it's not, and I can't send it off of WEEX to go to Kraken, but Kraken's price was bad. Yeah. So I couldn't buy it on there as much as I wanted it to. I couldn't. So let's see, 01378 01396 01366. Okay, yeah. So within range. Within range. It looks like anywhere from 766 to 790 as it was filling. Because I had to do them by small, like, so what I did was like 3,500 at a time because it was picking off the lower limit orders that people put out there. Anyhow, that's what I did with DAG. So I'm very, very, very happy with that. So like my portfolio, I feel like is banging right now for if we do get movement. Now I don't know if we're at the ultimate bottom, but I'm gonna base it like this. I also have the 10,000 band. I know some of us aren't in it anymore, but it felt appropriate at down when it made that last drop. So because I looked at it as an inverted right shoulder, double dropped here, and I'm like, now or never. So that's also part of it. Linnea with the copy trade, DAG, SHX, just under 400,000 tokens. Very proud of that as well. I know that one has a lot more tokens. DAG has 3.5 billion tokens roughly. They're all in circulation, so I don't have to worry about that. Band is one that I still really enjoy. It's only like 100 million circulating supply. It's just you got to find them at the right price. So if they do go parabolic, this bull market might not be about we're going to all-time highs. It could just be based on how low we dropped. Even if we go 10x, some people are just getting back to even. Think about it. Because DAG at one point was at 15 cents. Now it's at 1.3 something. It's kind of reminds me some of these, like, look at how where XLM or XDC was at 4.8 cents the other day when we loaded up again. We got a chance here in the community, and it was not something I often do, but we sold at like 5.8 after that 6% push or 7% push because XLM tends to be or XDC tends to be a little bit behind. And then we bought back at 4.8 something. We're just trying to do something, trying to create a little bit of capital so we could put elsewhere. And I had a plot with DAG and SHX. I just wanted to build this up the way I see in my head. So I don't have everything that I thought I would have in the past. Like, I got rid of some things because I wanted to have, like, for example, like Axelar I've already talked about. The Epic, we already know how much. Proton. I don't know if there's any exposure to Proton, to be honest. Only because of the way it's working on the exchanges. So, oh no, that's my BITUNIX one. What am I talking about? BITUNIX, yeah, duh. That's the BITUNIX one. So it's kind of hard to kind of keep it straight sometimes. How much, so that's why sometimes it's simpler to just have less is more, because if you miss the opportunities, because I'm doing this every day, I'm always looking at every single chart. I'm interested with what's going on in the miners because that's telling us a lot about what's coming. If we rush on gold and silver here towards the end of November into December, that means that we're going to get a likely 50 basis point rate. Like, this could be speaking to something. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see if this continues. We'll see if it continues. That's all there is to it. So I'm gonna go make sure my son's doing okay. Watch this $2.18. Ooh, we're right at that first resistance area. And then if we get past that, it's right up here. You know, we got that mid-tier 232 to 4 we talked about, but 246 would be the next big one if we can get through. And then obviously 260 area, but this is it right here. This is what we're trying to push past. So good luck, everybody.